That's a costume with a big sign on it that says arrest. You understand? You're too loud.
The super producer.
The loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. I told you.
Let's get it, I got it, I'm ready, my lord. Whole click solid, everybody on board. Say they want smoke, that's the shit they can't afford. These niggas weak, no cap, I go hard. And I know these niggas mad, I ain't tripping, I'm good. One call, then fall on you, don't make me do it. Me and my niggas taking your city on guard. Look, I got something for all you haters. Dumb thinking and sweet, get all the flavors. You niggas suckers like you candy coated. Grab the 40, let it blam, reload it. Couple sticks on me, thinking dynamite from that damn explosion. Look, homie, all I'm saying, you better chill. You think you got the game, you ain't even in the field. You say you ready to die, you ain't even gonna write a will. I gotta leave you to make bail before the appeal. I'm war ready, heavy artillery like a Mando. Who boots grade camo, feeling fresh out the bando. I'm one wet, got a vest, lot of ammo. Big blade, face paint like I'm Rambo. Shit, I make rappers go rip their book up. I walk up on you real time with my hood up. See your ass under with a ladder, it ain't good luck. Let's get it, I got it, I'm ready, my lord. Whole click solid, everybody on board. Say they want smoke, that's the shit they can't afford. These niggas weak, no cap, I go hard. And I know these niggas mad, I ain't tripping, I'm good. One call, then fall on you, don't make me do it. Me and my niggas taking your city on guard. 140 for the rebel, nigga. Yeah. Wait a minute, let me check my watch, time to go to work. Bitch, I'm right back, get my bag, about to go berserk. Oh, that nigga left, he a hoe, tell him go to church. Say that they got next, okay, guess I gotta get it first. The truth hurt, I'm on fire, let it burn a bit. Fuck a hoe, cut that bitch off like a tourniquet. Cut him up, nip tuck, then I put him on the bed. Everything I drop heavy, little nigga, watch your head. Yeah, he ain't one west, he a fed. I claim on 25th, UPK thoroughbred. Oh, he mad, well, I ain't worried about a damn thing. Nigga, I'm strapped, I put it like a hamstring. Just touched down, finna fly down, case it dry. Touch King Taz, gonna be very hard to stay alive. Bitch, we outside, so you know you can't stand there. Said if I gon' die for this shit, I told him hell yeah. Let's get it, I got it, I'm ready, my lord. Whole click solid, everybody on board. Say they want smoke, that's the shit they can't afford. These niggas weak, no cap, I go hard. And I know these niggas mad, I ain't tripping, I'm good. One call, then fall on you, don't make me do it. Me and my niggas taking your city on guard.
You know, if you wasn't my brother, I'd kill you. You know that, don't you? I'd blow your motherfucking brains out.
All right. Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up. That's what I'm talking about. All right. It's Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. You understand? It is Monday, the history breakdown class, where we break it down line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. We are in Genesis 45. Hopefully we can get through all of it today. So what we've been talking about is the sacrifice that brotherhood takes, right? When we left off, we talked about, so when the Lord calls you, most people only think about the glorified side, you know, David being king, you know what I'm saying? Solomon having 400 wives and 300 concubines, you know what I'm saying? They think about, you know, Christ in his glory magnified state, you know what I'm saying? They think about Isaiah, you know what I'm saying, going heads up, you know, with the different priests. I'm sorry, not Isaiah, Elijah. You know what I'm saying? They think about Elijah calling down fire from heaven. You know what I'm saying? They think about Elisha smoting the water, you know what I'm saying, and parting the sea. You feel me? But they don't think about the sacrifice that it takes for them to get to that point. You understand? They don't talk about how Elijah, for the most part, was homeless. You know what I'm saying? He went from pillar to post. You know what I'm saying? How Obadiah and them, they were hiding in caves to escape prosecution. You know what I'm saying? From the feds. You feel me? How Christ was beaten. You know what I'm saying? How Christ fasted 40 days and 40 nights. All right, let me tell you something. Christ a G. Because I fasted for 3 days, and I was like, good night, brother. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never experienced nothing like it. I was like, the third day I was good. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try and do a fourth. You know what I'm saying? But when sundown came on that third day, body started doing this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no. They was like, no. You can get something up in you. You said 3, your 3 is up. You feel me? And Christ did 40 no food, no water. Like, he's amazing. You know what I'm saying? But that's a sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't talk about like Abraham. Abraham, you know his sacrifice? He had to leave the luxury of the royalty of his household. He had to leave all of his titles and his father's land to develop his own title. You understand? Be up under his own banner and ascertain his own land. Same thing with Isaac. Isaac went through his trials. So did Jacob. When you are called, you understand, for the service of the Lord, it's going to come with a sacrifice. You're going to have to forfeit your life. And what Joseph did, Joseph had to forfeit his life and the luxury and titles of his father's household so that the house of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob can live. That is the type of banner that you got to hold as a brother and as a sister in this truth. All right. So we stopped off, I believe Aaron stopped us off at verse 8 last week. So we're going to pick up right there.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 45, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
Haste ye, and go up to my father, and say unto him, Thus saith thy son Joseph, God hath made me Lord of all Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Come down unto me, tarry not. Verse 10.
Yakuba, give me Matthew 12 and 46. Keep reading, Aaron.
And thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen,
Mm-hmm.
and thou shalt be near unto me, thou and thy children, and thy children's children,
Mm-hmm.
and thy flocks, and thy herds,
Mm-hmm.
and all that thou hast.
Verse 11.
And there will I nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine,
Mm-hmm.
lest thou and thy household, and all that thou hast, come to poverty.
Do what?
Come to poverty.
Do what?
Come to poverty.
First thing that you got to understand, if there's a famine in your life, it's a curse. And its job is to destroy you and bring you to naught. The only people that survive famine, like a mass famine, the last one of the major great famines in the United States was the Great Depression. You understand? Unless the Lord is with you out, there's no way that you're going to survive that. Now, when the Great Depression came, it wasn't nothing for us because we was already depressed. We was already oppressed. We was already living on the discarded portions of what we call the slave diet. You know what I'm saying? Hog intestines. You know what I'm saying? Ox tails. You know, lingua. You know what I'm saying? Barbacoa. You understand? For those that don't know that, that's tongue meat and cheek meat of a cow. The things that would be discarded when they slaughter an animal. We were already used to making something out of nothing. But in order to have that mindset, the Spirit of the Lord has to be with you. You understand? But in this case, the Lord made provision for us. He went before us. But in order for us to be in the right spirit, he had to put somebody through the fire. You understand? Anybody that is being groomed for leadership, it doesn't matter if you're going to be a husband. I would hope you would be a husband and a father, but I know the world has broken up the Black, Hispanic, and Native American household. You understand? Or if you aspire to be a trooper, an officer, or a captain, or even maybe one day a general, it's gonna come with major sacrifice, because the more that's given is the more that's required, and the more that's required is your sacrifice. All right, give me what I asked for, Yakabad.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 4. How he entered into the house of God
Mm-hmm.
and did
Matthew 12 and 46.
so a lot.
Mm-hmm.
12. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 46. While he yet talked to the people,
Mm-hmm.
behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 47. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and brethren stand without, desire to speak.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is the spirit of all of our families. It don't matter if you at work. You need to stop what you're doing immediately because I'm here. Or you need to stop what you're doing immediately because I'm calling. You understand? But when you're called by the Lord, you don't have that luxury. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 48. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother?
Mm-hmm.
And who is my and who are my brethren?
Mm-hmm.
And he, verse 49, and he stretched forth his hand towards his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brethren. Verse 50, whosoever shall do the will of my Father, which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother.
So that's the mindset that you got to have even with your family, right? If they're not willing to be understanding of what it takes for this walk, sometimes you got to distance yourself. You understand? And it's not because you love them. You understand? You separate yourself because you, and to be honest with you, the truth is going to do it for you. That's what it truly means to be hollow. Like when they, mama cooked the meal and she wanted everybody to come to the house. You know what I'm saying? You come to the house, you can't eat the meal because the meal is filled with abominations. You know what I'm saying? Or like when my uncle, he throw a good Friday bash every year. I don't ever go anymore because I'm in the truth. But it be he got the and it's crazy that he call it this. You know what I'm saying? He say, I got the known and mentioned table, and then I got the abominable table. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's where you got your turtle, your rabbit, your tripe, your coon, your possum. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff that we ain't supposed to eat. Go, you about to say something, support? Go ahead. I'm just saying everything that's on that table. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't supposed to be eating no possum. You ain't supposed to be eating no coon. You ain't supposed to be eating no turtle. You ain't supposed to be eating no rabbit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking on everything that was at the table. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and then he melt a whole hog head down and make hog head cheese. You know what I'm saying? Like, most people don't really understand. Like, people like, man, I love hog head cheese. I was like, you probably wouldn't if you saw how it was made. I'm talking about, brother, like the whole skull, the meat, the flesh around the skull is melted down and cured into cheese. It is disgusting. Like, to watch the process, it is disgusting. You know what I'm saying? But you know, our people OD on it. You know, so when you come into this truth, it's just gonna naturally separate you from it. And you gotta always focus on the task at hand. You gotta focus on the work. Go to just when Matthew, go to Matthew 4:18. You know what I'm saying? To give another example, because Christ wasn't the only one that had to make this separation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is what you got to know. In order to follow Christ, you got to make the same sacrifices. We ain't doing nothing that Christ didn't do, and I'm about to show you we not doing nothing different that the apostles had to do. Go ahead, read. In the disciples. Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 4, verse 18. And Jesus, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw two brethren, Simon called Peter, and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishers. Verse 19. And he said unto them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men.
Now, imagine, Shalaki, imagine you being on a boat, and then all of a sudden, hold on 1 second. Okay, cool. Imagine you being on a boat, and then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? Somebody like, hey, bro, come and follow me. I got this new work for you. But in order to do it, you understand, you got to drop what you're doing right now. You understand? You own your father's boat. You come from a long line of fishermen. You understand? Now let's see what ended up happening. Go ahead, read.
Verse 20. And they straightway left their nets.
They did what?
And they straightway left their nets.
Go ahead.
And followed him.
You understand? That's what it's going to take. Like when you get that call, no, it's not today. No, I'm sorry. No, not later today. No, I'm going to get at you tomorrow, because tomorrow not promised. You're not even guaranteed to get in your car and make it home today. You don't know what the next minute holds. You understand? Like we could all step outside right now and it be the Chariots. Game over. You understand? And imagine those who play the harlot in that moment, they're going to be like, woe is me. I am destroyed. You understand? And I'm going to tell you what Christ said. Hold on. Give me this. Hold on. Hold on. What is it? Go back to Matthew 8. YAHANNA, and go to 8:19, and you're going to read down to verse 22. Because when it's time to do the work, it's time to go to work. It ain't time to, I mean, as we like to say, pea-foot around. You understand? Go ahead, read.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 8, verse 19. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest.
Now, what are scribes? Anybody know what a scribe is? I know Sapar should know. That's what he named after. What's a scribe, Sapar?
A scribe is one of the brothers that took notes or copied the scriptures out.
A better way to say it is it's a brother that kept the records. You know what I'm saying? Right. Give Sapar a hand. You know what I'm saying? All right. So a scribe, now scribes during this time worked for the Pharisees and the Sadducees. You know what I'm saying? The aristocracy and the ruling class of the Jews. You understand? And he's saying, what do you say, Yakubad?
I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest.
You know what I'm saying? Now he's saying, look, I believe you, Lord. And wherever you gonna go, I'm gonna follow you, and I'm gonna do what you do, and I'm gonna do what you say. Christ like bet. Let's see what Christ said.
And Yahushua said, say it. It's like verse 1. And Yahushua said unto him, the foxes have holes, and the birds have the air. It's like, and the birds of the air have nests. But the sons of man have not where to lay his head.
And this how you know this book spirit. See, I gotta read it like a brother from the South. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I hear you, baby. I mean, shoot, but foxes had holes, birds of the air that got their nest, but shoot, your boy don't got nowhere to lay his head tonight. So what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? That's how he said it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is how I let you know this is a spirit. This is our book. This is a spiritual book. This is how we talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really want to follow me, let's find out. Because, you know, every fox got their hole. Every bird got their nest. But, you know, I'm the son of man and I don't got nowhere to lay my head. That's another way of saying we going to see how much you want to serve. How much you want to follow. Keep reading.
And another, it's like verse 21.
And read where you at one time.
Count. Verse 21.
Matthew 8 and 21.
Book of Matthew, chapter 8, verse 21.
And
another of his disciples said unto him, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I'ma swap out suffer for a term that we use today. Come on, Christ, style your boy out. You know what I'm saying? Just give me a week. So, you know, like, you know, my fam just died. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and go to the wake and to the funeral, and I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Christ, like, well, I thought you wanted to follow. You said you'll follow me wherever I go. Now you saying stall me out. Keep reading.
Verse 22. And Yahushua said unto him, follow me, and let the dead bury their dead.
Say it again.
Follow me, and let the dead bury their dead.
You understand? Like, that's what it's gonna take. Like, this is a spirit that Joseph had. Like, Joseph couldn't focus on what his brother's doing, what his daddy doing, what his stepmama's doing. He couldn't focus on that. He had to focus on the task at hand. You know what I'm saying? They not coming for me. I got to focus on surviving. And the only thing that done kept me alive is serving the Lord. So you got to let the dead bury the dead. Because in their eyes, you dead. The person that they know and love, and he's dead. You know what I'm saying? The person that they grew up with, the person that they raised, she's dead. And you got to move like that. Now, when they're ready for you, they'll seek you out. Or the Lord will bring them across your path to deliver them from the travesty and devastation that is about to ensue in their lives. And they're going to see it because they knew who you once were. They were like, I don't even recognize this brother. If this sister didn't tell me who she was, I wouldn't have recognized her. And then that's the breadcrumb. That's the mustard seed. That's the fishing reel to fish that brother or sister in. You understand? A person is more susceptible. I mean, scripture says, I'm paraphrasing. A person is more susceptible to hear you on a full stomach versus an empty one. So if you're able to supply a need, that's like you telling somebody out on the street that's hungry, like, yeah, man, come in here and get this bread of life. It'll feed you forever, but I'm hungry right now, bro. You talking about something that I gotta learn, you know what I'm saying, to get this bread of life that'll give me everlasting bread. I need bread right now. That's why we go so hard on philanthropy. You know what I'm saying? That's why every time we go out and have camp, we got clothes, we got food. You know what I'm saying? That's why we have the food drive 3 times a week. Because how can you speak evil of I.S.U.P.K and you get food from them, clothing from them, perishable items from them, and shoes from them, and school supplies from them every year, every week, and every weekend? How can you speak evil of that brother? You know what ends up happening when a brother does speak it? Hey man, forget what you talking about. Them brothers and being in my mama neighborhood every weekend, making sure my mama got the bare essentials when I can't even pull up for it sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a situation like that. And I'm gonna tell you, it happened online. A sister tagged Captain Tazariak, you know what I'm saying, in a post, and he shared it and said, I see the works of I.S.U.P.K. I don't see the Nation of Islam. I don't see the Christian church in Sunnyside and Dead End. Not in my neighborhood, not in my apartment complex. These brothers is here faithfully every week and they don't miss. See, and that's what Christ did. He went amongst the people. You can't help people hiding, you know, in your buildings, in your facilities. You know what I'm saying? You got to get amongst the people because that's where the sick are. Okay, how will they know where the hospital at if you don't pass out flyers and say, "Hey, we open"? I mean, back in the day, when a black dentist or a black doctor's office opened up, you know what they did? They went door to door and handed out pamphlets like, "Look, I know you may have a dentist, I know you may have a doctor's office, but look, I'm here in the community. You know what I'm saying? And I'm here to serve you." That's how you do it. And you know what it's going to take? A sacrifice. Don't nobody want to go door to door. I know Yakabot and them, they don't want, and Aaron, he came out there a couple of times, don't want to be out there in that blistering heat in the middle of the day, unloading a huge Penske truck, you understand, and all them pallets, and then loading them back up on the R vehicle, and then unloading them in the communities. And then setting up tables and being out there. All right, y'all, form a line. We gonna get everything in decency and order. You know what I'm saying? It takes a sacrifice, Hot. In order to get the glory, you got to give something up. And 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be your time and your dime. Joseph forfeited a major portion of his life so that his family can live, and we living forever off the sacrifice. The reason why we still here today is because of the sacrifice that Joseph made then. That's the type of person that you got to be. All right, let's get back to it. We had verse 12 in 45.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 45, verse 12. And behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that is my mouth, that speaketh unto you.
Yakubah, hold 1 John 4 and 20. Go ahead.
Verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
And ye shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt.
Say that one more time.
And ye shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt.
Bro, ain't nothing more glorious than that, man. Y'all thought I was dead, but the Lord ascended me to glory. Like, bro, they didn't thought they little brother been dead this whole time, and they didn't treated him as if he don't exist. And he had to go through hell. He had to forfeit his life in different retrospects. He had to go through false accusations. You know what I'm saying? He had to clean toilets. You know what I'm saying? He had to sweep floors. You know what I'm saying? Then he arrived. He rise up to a supervisor position in one job, get a false accusation, get fired, and thrown into jail. Then he become the #1 trustee in the jail, looking out for everybody. And then by him looking out for somebody, it got him the ear of the governor. You know what I'm saying? I'm using the governor as in a title in this modern. Well, actually, no, it would be the president because it was Pharaoh, who he used to work in the governor's house. Now the president calling him out of prison. I was like, so you know, one of my heads of staff told me that you're capable of doing a thing that no one else is able to do. Well, and he said, well, it's not of me that's able to do it. It's of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And as we determined when we was reading the scripture, anything, where, when you dream, I'm gonna see if y'all was paying attention. When you dream, where do you go? Go ahead.
To the spiritual realm.
Give that brother a hand. You know what I'm saying? When you dream, you go to the spiritual realm. And any information that is given to you in the spiritual realm can only be interpreted by a what? Blow my mind, Aaron. You remember that? I hope you remember this. If you get a message in the spiritual realm, the only thing that can interpret it is a what?
A spirit.
Give that brother a hand. Give that brother a hand. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Joseph said to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh's like, okay, well, let's see what Joseph, because all these other spirits I didn't call forth, all these soothsayers, all these diviners, you know what I'm saying? All of these witches and warlocks I didn't call, and they didn't call upon their spirits and their mediums. They couldn't call it. So let's see if you can do it. And Joseph's able to interpret it. Because of that, he became the #2 man in the land. The only person that was over him was Pharaoh. And he ascended to glory. And when his brothers came, he said, make sure you tell my father of my glory. But none of that would have been able to happen if he did not do was taking place in 1 John. Read what you got for me.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 4, verse 20.
26, I believe. 1 John 4 and 20. You're right. Go ahead.
If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar.
Say that one more time.
If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar.
Read all the way to 21.
Come. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love God, whom he hath not seen?
Come on, Doc. If Joseph didn't get over that pain of abandonment in his heart, he would never be able to tell his father of the glory that God had given him. Because understand, this lesson isn't just for his brothers, it's also for Joseph. Because you have to be able to have the capacity to forgive. And that is a hard thing in the Black and Hispanic community. And what's crazy is we hold grudges against each other forever, but you let anything happen from your oppressor like that. You know what I'm saying? You get pulled over and mishandled by the laws. You're like, oh man, it's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? You get railroaded by legislation being passed on you. You be like, oh man, it's just, it is what it is. But your brother step on your J's, you ready to kill him. You know what I'm saying? You can't have a cordial disagreement and just have a difference of opinion. No, it's either my way or no way. And if you got a problem with it, we can throw these hands about it. And then some of y'all still holding on to stuff that happened to you in high school and you 30 and 40 years old. You are never going to be able to progress in life, let alone with Christ, holding grudges. How can you say you love Christ and the Most High God, Yahweh, whom you don't see, and you hate the brother or the sister that you see every day? There's no way in hell you're going to get glory. Not the glory that's worth talking about. I mean, you may get a car here and there. You may get a house, okay. But the glory that's worth talking about, you'll never achieve it or find it as long as you hold hatred in your heart. You understand? For brothers, you got a vicious baby mama, hey, you chose her. You know what I'm saying? For sisters, you got a baby daddy that's hell, hey, you chose him. But in order for you to move forward, you got to forgive him. I'm going to tell y'all like General Muhammad told me when I came across a op that, I mean, like, I knew he was going to be at where I was going to be at. And I told him the next time I see him, because of what he did, it's up. I hadn't seen him in 7 years. And when I got the call that he going to potentially be there, I called General Muhammad. You know what he told me? He told me, well, what did that brother do? Told him what the brother did. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, well, who did he do it to? Well, you know, he did it to me back in the day. I was like, well, who were you back in the day? Did that happen to Tazadok? I was like, la, sir. He was like, well, Tazadok is a new creature. He is a new creation. Let it go out. Because you'll never grow in this truth holding on to something that you had in the world. That's what Joseph had to do. In order to serve the Lord, he had to in order to serve in the spirit, you got to let go of what you're holding on in the flesh. Matter of fact, give me that. Give me, what is it? Tries to save his life. Give me Matthew. Man, we heavy in Matthew today. Give me Matthew 16 and 25. Get there with you. Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 26, verse 25.
No, 16 and 25. Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 16.
And matter of fact, start at verse 23.
Okay. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 23. But he turned and said unto Peter, get thee behind me, Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Thou art an offense
Mm-hmm.
unto me. For thou savorest not the things that be of God.
Say that one more time.
Thou savorest not the things that be of God.
Now, when you come into this truth and you start walking, you gonna have homeboys and partners and be like, bro, it's just a little weed. Get thee behind me, Satan. Bro, we've been eating pork, crawfish, lobster, you know what I'm saying? Rabbit, turtle stew, you know what I'm saying? Our whole life. Catfish, fried. We used to go to the Chinese spot at Moab and get the catfish platter. What you talking catfish and fries, man? What you talking about? Like, this is good. This is good eating. We've been eating our whole lives. But they know not the things that be of God. And you got to say, even though they saying it from a place of love, you got to tell them like Christ told Peter, get thee behind me, Satan. It's not you, it's the spirit that you have. Keep reading.
But those that be of men,
Mm-hmm.
verse 24.
That boy said, you don't savor the things that be of God, but you savor the things that be of men. I know Moab serving them catfish plates, bro. It may taste good fried, but you keep eating that fried catfish after a couple of years, brother, a decade, it ain't gonna be looking too good for you. You know what I'm saying? Them fried pork chops, it ain't gonna be looking too good for you. You know what I'm saying? Them lobster tails, you know, our people love them lobster tails and shrimp. And you know what's crazy? You know, and I'm gonna say like from the 60s to the 90s, you know that lobster and shrimp, you couldn't even sell them, bro. That's the reason why they were served on po' boys. Because you can dang near get shrimp for like a whole thing of shrimp for like 10 cents. They use for bait. Because they're bottom feeders. People didn't eat clams, oysters, lobster, none of that. Like in the early 60s, going into it wasn't none of that. People wasn't eating that. But they had such a surplus of it, they had to figure out a way to get rid of it. So they turned it into a delicacy. And now you OD on abominations. You know what I'm saying? You don't savor the things that be of God. You savor the things that be of men. God tells you these things are an abomination to you. The man will tell you, hey, bro, we got to be multicultural. Enjoy these delicacies of this sushi made from eel that came from Okinawa, Japan. You know what I'm saying? You know why they eating eel? Because they poor. The same reason why you was eating chitlins. You know what I'm saying? The same reason why you was eating hog maws, fatback. Because you was poor. You just trying to put something in your stomach so you wouldn't die. But when you know better, you do better. Keep reading. Yakubad.
Come. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 24. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself.
Do what?
Let him deny himself.
Do what?
Deny himself.
In order to serve Christ, you got to deny yourself. What is that called?
Sacrifice.
Get that brother a hand. You know what I'm saying? In order for Joseph to be in the position that he's in right now, to say, tell my father of my glory, he had to be sold into slavery. He had to be abandoned by his family. Matter of fact, before even that happened, his family played a cruel joke on him. You know what I'm saying? Threw him down a hole. Then he got sold into slavery. You know what I'm saying? Then he was a servant in the governor's house and then rose up to the highest servant in the governor's house. Then he got accused of rape. Thrown into prison. False accusation. We know for sure he did a minimum of 3 to 5 years. Because when the baker and the butler came, you understand? I'm sorry, the cupbearer came, he did 2 years with them alone by himself. So we know he did a minimum of 3 to 5 years on a false rape case, false accusation of a rape case. He was falsely prosecuted. And then the cupbearer got out, forgot about him, so he was in there for some more time. Are you willing to go through all of that to be number 2 in the land? Most of y'all say, yeah, but after being sold into slavery, you be ready to give up. But Joseph never lost sight of the fact that the Lord was with him the entire time, because when he was a slave, he rose up to the highest slave in the house. When he was in prison, he rose up to be the highest trustee. Everywhere that he went, he was blessed because he never turned his back on the Lord. It takes sacrifice to have that type of mindset in oppression. It takes sacrifice because you have something else. It's called faith. Keep reading. Use that 24, you're 25 now.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
For whosoever will save his life shall lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And whosoever shall lose his life for my sake shall find it.
So if you out here trying to be YOLO, you're going to lose your life. You understand? Rick Ross thought he was on top of the world, and he got slugged in the face, and his whole bodyguard got mollywopped like he was a common man at a brawl at a bar. He got mobbed by common men. These ain't nobody that's in Drake camp. These ain't nobody associated by the mob. No, these were common people that came to his show and they felt disrespected because he played not like us in Canada. And when he got off stage, the common people was like, you know where you at? And they showed him. Like, bro, he had a 6'6" bodyguard that was 300 pounds. They handled that boy. Because, like, it don't matter how big you are, 5-on-1, that's some tough odds. Okay, yeah, you might catch one of us. You might even catch two. But when that third one catch you, you ain't going to see it coming. And it dropped him to his knees, and all of them was kicking him in the face. If you trying to save your life, you will lose it. You understand? What's the Florida rapper that just died? Fulio. Yeah. Did the fool. You know what I'm saying? Caught himself being cool, shooting a video on his op's grave. Oh yeah. He had the boy poster, you know what I'm saying, from he made like a whole little mural, and he holding the mural while he rapping on his grave. Dancing on his grave. Yeah, he a fool. Yeah, he Fulio, all right. Got a whole half of his face shot off. Slump. Because if you try and save your life, you will lose it. Because you have a savior that's not of God, but of man. Everything that the world says is cool is an abomination to the Lord. The Lord don't want to see our sisters out here like whores. Like me and my wife, like we turned on the BET Awards yesterday, and it was just to see Sexy Red is disgusting to me. Like, it is detestable. And the crazy part is, when I talk to people that's like 27 and older, nobody likes Sexy Red. So who is her audience? Your kids. She's turning your daughters into whores. Because you love your life, you gonna lose it, and it's gonna take your kids out with it. But he that loses his life will gain it. And it takes you, when you get home from a long shift at work and you didn't work 12, 13 hours, and you come home to stay up with your kids to make sure they did their homework right. You going to the PTO meetings. You making sure that they're a part of after school programs to keep them out of the streets. That they don't be the example. I'm sorry, that they don't be an example and mess around and be an example. Because if you try and save your life, you're going to lose it every single time. Keep reading where he left off, Aaron. He had Matthew 16 and 26.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 26. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?
How can you exchange something that you didn't create? How can you exchange something that you don't own? And what's crazy is these people in the world, in the entertainment industry, in the private sectors, you know what I'm saying, and these venture capitalists, you know what I'm saying, these influencers like Aiden Ross, you know what I'm saying, you're trading something that you don't own, that you don't even know the value of, for materialistic things. What is money? Money is paper. The real currency is the spirit that provides the resources, because he's the source. You keep looking outside of you for salvation when the salvation comes from within. Christ said that this is the temple of the Most High God. You got to fix this. Before you can do any of that, you got to fix this. And it take a lot of sacrifice and a lot of going through hell. Keep reading.
Verse 27. For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels.
Say that one more time.
For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels.
What did Joseph tell his brothers to tell his father? He told him to tell my father of my glory. Yeah. Because y'all thought I was dead. And what I told y'all the Lord told me then, he done did it now. Because all of y'all have kneeled before me. Tell my father his son lives. That brother was overcome with emotion. He couldn't even control it. That everyone inside of Pharaoh's house heard that brother wail because he couldn't hold back the emotion of hiding his identity from his brothers. That's called guilt and survivor's remorse, which caused him to have compassion and forgive his brothers. You're not here because you're better than them. You're not here because you're special. The Lord brought you here so you can be used, so you can be a tool, a vessel for him. Don't be the unfaithful servant that buried your talent in the sand. You have to use what the Lord has given you. Too many of us are selfish with our time and our resources. If you have it, give it. I'm not telling you to give to a point to where it's a burden to you, to where you're hurting yourself. But you know when you chilling at home and you see brothers at camp. You know when you chilling at home and you see brothers out here serving the community in these food drives. You know, when you sitting at home and you just show up to the feast day and all these sisters been slaving and bringing meals and you just show up with you and your family to eat? The only way this kingdom gets built is if everybody pitches in and everybody sacrifices. Your sacrifices may not be monetary. Time may be the only thing that you can give. Well, give it. If you're a farmer, like people always be like, well, back then they didn't give money. You know what I'm saying? They gave crops. Well, I tell you what, we got a farmer in the school. Shout out to Bara Aya. You understand? You know what he ties? Every time his hens and his chickens, they have eggs, that refrigerator be full of eggs for everybody at the school here in Houston and the surrounding area. Every time he get a harvest of rice and beans, he makes sure the first portion of them rice and beans that he get from his harvest, it comes to the school. Whatever you can give in sacrifice, give it. Because that's the only way we as a people live. The nation lives because of a sacrifice of a few. People pride themselves of the civil rights movement. Do you know the civil rights movement was 2% of the black population and the Hispanic population. I can't forget about the Blue Berets. It was 2% of the overall black population, and it wasn't adults, it was kids. It was teenagers and kids in college. Don't tell me what you can't do. Because if you got the time and the mind and wherewithal, you can change an entire nation. Even though Malcolm and Martin, they went astray, and Marcus and Garvey, they went astray, they had the president of the United States shook. They had the United States government shook. So much so, they created a dossier called the Black Messiah because they knew one was coming. So what did they do? Reagan era came. So we're going to stop this. Ain't going to be no more Malcolms, Martins, Denmark VCs, no more W.E.B. Du Boises, no John Africas. You understand? Ain't gonna be no more Carter G. Woodsons. You know what I'm saying? Ain't gonna be no more of that because we gonna make sure that we pump their community with this crack, man. This cocaine. And we gonna kill them in the womb. Remember, I said you were so willing to sacrifice in the world for folly. What you think? You gonna be able to just come in and service the Lord and just chill? Why you think we here? Because we trying to get out of here. But you think it's the mothership just gonna appear one day and you gonna be out of here. No. The mothership gonna come. They gonna put us off to the side while the gloom and doom come. And you know what happens after that? The work. How do you think all of these nations and dynasties were built? By meditation and prayer? No, it took men putting their hands to the plow like brothers like Nehemiah that went back and got his brothers and they built the walls of the city of Jerusalem around the temple again. It took hands from every nation to rebuild the four corners of the city of Jerusalem walls. And they worked day and night. They worked it with one hand with materials to lay brick, and the other hand they had their hand on their sword. Because the ops knew as soon as they built that wall around Jerusalem, the Lord was going to be with them. But you got to build this up first. You build this up, you're unstoppable, Ak. You're unstoppable. This has to change. So a man thinketh, so he is. And once you change your mind, I mean, my favorite group, the Funkadelics, got an amazing quote. Free your mind and your ass will follow. You got to free your mind, Doc. You got to free it of Catholicism. You got to free it of Santeria. You got to free it of voodoo. You got to free it of Ifa. You know what I'm saying? You got to free it of Islam. You got to free it of Buddhism. You got to free it from the slave diet. You got to free your mind, Doc. Nothing will change out here if it don't change in here. You want to know what's going on in your life? Look at what's going on around you. It's a direct reflection of what's going on inside of you. If you feel like everybody hating on you 9 times out of 10, it's because you hate yourself. You understand? If you keep getting repoed, you keep getting evicted, you understand? You keep living pillar to post, couch to couch, it's because you don't know how to manage your money right. And all of it takes the same consistent thing. Blow my mind. What is it? Sacrifice. In order to have the life that you want, you have to be willing to sacrifice. A little bit every day. My wife, she get upset when people say they can't save. I mean, you $20 out of every check, you can't save $20? My wife say it all the time. You can't save $20. You can't forego whatever meal you get from your fast food restaurant. You can't forgo one fast food, and you eat about 5-6 fast food meals a week. I mean, we keeping it real. Because nobody wants to sacrifice and cook a meal and save money. You can't sacrifice one $20 meal. Do you know, what did I say? I said, when we got back from Passover, do you know from the moment that Passover ends, if you saved $60 every 2 weeks going into next Passover, that your Passover fee and your hotel bill will be paid? If you were willing to sacrifice $60 every 2 weeks from now till next Passover, you know what I'm saying? Well, it's probably gonna be a little bit more now, but when I said it, it was $60 every 2 weeks. Hell, even if you started now, for sure, your hotel bill will be taken care of. You sacrifice for what you want. The scripture says, if you want to know where a man's heart is, it's where his treasure lies. You understand? Where your heart is where your treasure lies. So whatever you feel, your treasure can be your PS5. You spend more time on the game than doing the work of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Your time could be being on the basketball court at the Y. You making sure, you got to get at least 3 pickup games on Saturday instead of being here for Sabbath service and for camp. But you want the glory, though. You want to say you the man, though. You want to be an officer. You want to be a captain. Some of you have lost the aspiration. Like, man, I want to know what it's like to be a general. But when brothers ask you to clean the toilet or sweep the floors, you got a problem. You know what Commanding General YAHANNA did? He cleaned toilets and swept floors. He slept in basements. See, you don't get the glory that Commanding General YAHANNA has without having a major sacrifice. He slept in basements with leaky walls in the winter in Philly. Looked like a dungeon when I saw the pictures of where they slept at. It looked like a dungeon in there. But you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of what Obadiah did. When he saved 100 priests of the Lord and 50 slept in one cave, 50 slept in another cave. You got to be willing to get uncomfortable because the Lord will move you from position. Just when you think you're about to get comfortable, the Lord is going to move you. Because if you get comfortable, you become complacent and you stop serving. Some of you, if you never got fired from your job, you would never leave it. You would stay on the same plantation because it's all you know. And it's a vast world out there. Opportunities endless, but you're too scared. And if the Lord didn't get you fired, you would still be there in mediocrity. You wouldn't fight to sacrifice to serve. All right, read the last part, 28, Aaron.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 28.
Mm-hmm.
Verily, I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom.
And you know why that is? It's because of the sacrifice that they made. They all forfeited their life. They all gave up their life so that they can live. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't see myself leaving the truth. What I'm going to go back to? Smoking weed? Partying and drink? Me and baby, we had our anniversary this weekend. And I mean, we had a good time. But let me tell you, when we woke up on Sunday, we both looked at each other. I don't see how they do this every weekend. I can't do it. The people we went out with, where y'all at? Y'all coming out today? No, we at home. We preparing for we got to cook Sunday dinner so we can have a big meal so it can last for the rest of the week. We being responsible. I just don't see how they can do it. My body can't take it. I'm sorry. I mean, I had a good time. You know what I'm saying? But when I woke up the next day, I was like, God damn. You know, stretching my neck. You know what I'm saying? Head feeling like it's sloshing the ocean. You know, I'm like, no, I can't do this every weekend. I don't know how I did it for so long. And let me know how long I've been separated from the world. It's not the Lord saying that you can't have a good time, but what are we celebrating? I mean, me and my wife had a reason to celebrate. We celebrate our anniversary. We made another marker. You know what I'm saying? We celebrate the feast days. Or the brothers will go out and fish and do brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? Or after camp, we'll go out to eat. Because we had a victory in war, spiritual warfare. When you're going out, what are you celebrating? What have you done that's worth being celebrated? I guarantee you it's not something for you to be in the club or turned up every weekend. Because when you're out there and you become not sober-minded, you open yourself up to temptation. I'm going to tell you, I was out there and I'm just looking at people in the crowd. All you see is just demons. on people. That's all you see. It's all you see. Because all the scripture says to be sober and vigilant. Now, when it's talking about sober, it's talking about your spirit. But know also when you indulge and you become drunk in other spirits, we talking about alcohol, it opens the door for other spirits to come in. And if you so focused on having a good time and you not looking at your surroundings, you gonna mess around and be in a legion of devils. Surrounded. Ask Rick Ross. He found that out this past weekend. Didn't work out too well for him. I understand the expression of, I'm too old for this, man. Too old for that. Not old in age, but I'm old in spirit. You understand? And when the Lord grows your spirit, when I was a child, I did things as a child, but when I became grown, I put the childish things away. It's not saying that you can't have fun, but remember who you are, whose you are, and first, most importantly, what are you celebrating? All right, let's get back to Genesis 45. We stopped off at 14. Read 14. We're gonna read 14 to 17, and then we're gonna stop here and pick up next week. Oh, go ahead.
Genesis chapter 45, verse 13. And ye shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and of all that ye have seen, and ye shall haste and bring down my father hither. Verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. Verse 15. Moreover, he kissed all his brethren and wept upon them. And after that, his brethren talked with him.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 16. And the fame thereof was heard.
The what?
And the fame thereof.
The what?
And the fame thereof.
What are you trying to be famous for? See, everybody want to be famous. It's a lot of ways to be famous. In other words, what are you known for? What you known for out in these streets? See, some of y'all rep like this. You know what I'm saying? It's because you getting famous or infamous. That's an old word, infamous. You becoming infamous for the wrong reason. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all are infamous drunks. Some of y'all are infamous drug addicts. Some of y'all are infamous whores and whoremongers. Some of y'all are infamous wizards and sorcerers, drug dealers. What are you infamous for? You know what Joseph was famous for? Serving the Lord and being there for his brothers. He became famous in his enemy's house for that. What are you famous for? Keep reading.
Verse 15.
No, finish up 16.
Oh, 16.
You can just start at 16 at the beginning, and then we're going to read the 17.
The book of Genesis, chapter 45, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying.
Oh, and while he reading that, Yakabad, hold Matthew 18 and 21, and we're going to close right there. Go ahead.
Saying, Joseph's brethren are come, and it pleased Pharaoh well, and his servants.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 17. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Say unto thy brethren, this do ye, lade your breasts, and go, get you unto the land of Canaan.
Oh yeah. Keep reading. Verse 18.
And take your father and your households, and come unto me, and I will give you the good of the land of Egypt.
He will do what?
I will give you the good of the land of Egypt, and ye shall eat the fat of the land.
Let me tell you something, man. He became famous for his righteous deed of brotherhood and the sacrifice that he made to save not only his family, but because the Lord put him in position to save a nation, multiple nations. Let me ask you a question. You willing to serve 3 to 15 years in prison to be put in that position? If the Lord put you there, that's a hard question. Huh? That's a hard question. Are you willing to do 3 to 15 years in prison knowing that you're innocent if that meant for the Lord to put you in position for glory? Brother, that's heavy. Read what I asked for, Yakubah Baba Kushah.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me,
Mm-hmm.
and I forgive him? Till 7 times?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 22, Yahushua saith unto him, I say not unto thee, unto 7 times, but unto 70 times 7.
Keep reading.
Verse 23, therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king, which would take account of his servants.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 24, and when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him, which owed him 10,000 talents.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 25, but for as much as he had not to pay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and children,
Mm-hmm.
and all that he had, and payment to be made.
Verse 26.
Verse 26, the servant therefore fell down and worshipped him, saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all.
That's majority of you. That's majority of you. You owe a debt to the Lord, and the debt is your life. And when you get to the point to where you got diabetes and you got sugar rot, and now you want to pray to the Lord for him to spare your life. When you got AIDS and it become full-blown HIV, then you want to pray to the Lord for him to spare your life. When you get cancer, then you want to pray to the Lord for him to save your life. You understand? When that gun in your face because the trap house and got robbed by your opposition, then you want to pray to the Lord for him to save your life. You understand? Or when you get caught with another man's wife and he about to take your life, then you want to pray to the Lord for him to save your life. When you start fizzing out, you know what I'm saying, on fentanyl and you about to have an overdose, then you want to pray to the Lord for him to save your life. And you know what? Because he's a merciful Father, he might spare you. Keep reading.
Verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
Like
No, verse 27.
The Lord of that servant was moved with compassion
Mm-hmm.
and loosened him and forgave him. It's like forgave him the debt. Verse 28. But the same servant went out and found one of the fellow
One of his fellow
one
servants.
of his fellow servants, which owed him 100 pence.
Mm-hmm.
And he laid hands on him.
He did what?
He laid hands on him.
He did what?
He laid hands on him.
Mm-hmm.
And took him by the throat, saying, pay me that thou owest.
Do what?
Took him by the throat, saying, pay me that thou owest.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 29. And his fellow servant fell down at his feet and besought him, saying, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 30. And he will not, but went and cast him into prison till he should pay the debt.
Now, first thing y'all got to understand, prison is actually called a debtor's prison, right? That's why, like, when most of y'all, unfortunately, brothers, when you behind on child support, that's why they throw you in jail, right? Because while you in jail, you add tally to the debt that's able, because you owe money to be paid out. You understand? And the state pays your wife based off of the time that you done worked out. And the crazy part is, while you in jail, you become more in arrears. You know what I'm saying? But this the heavy part. This the heavy part right here. The Lord forgave him of his debt because he cried out and asked for mercy, not only for himself and for his entire family, his children, his wife, his household. But then when it came time for him to come around and show the same mercy, he did what the Lord should have did to him. And this is what I need all of y'all to understand. Be careful of what you ask of the Lord. Be careful of the mercy that you ask for the Lord. Be careful of how you ask to be delivered by the Lord, because I guarantee you, within days, months, a test gonna be brought to your door of the same circumstance for you to show to someone else, or for you to be tested to see what your spirit will be. And I pray you understand, because you'll end up like this servant. Keep reading.
Verse 31.
Mm-hmm.
So when his fellow servants saw what was done, they were very sorry, and came and told unto their Lord all that was done.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 32. Then the Lord, after that he had called him, said unto him, O thou wicked servant.
Oh, what?
O thou wicked servant.
Mm-hmm.
I forgave thee all that debt, because thou desiredest me. Verse 33. Shouldst not thou also had compassion on thy fellow servant,
Mm-hmm.
even as I had pity on thee?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 34. And his Lord was wroth and delivered him to the tormentors.
Mm-hmm.
Till he should pay all that was due unto him.
You understand? Boy, he unleashed the demons on him. You understand? You have a debt to pay. It is your life. Whether you forfeit it or the Lord takes it. You understand? But either way, that debt has to be paid. So, I mean, in the saying of one of my childhood favorite movies, state property. Either you're gonna get down or you're gonna lay down. It's just that simple. You choose. But we're going to stop right here with that. I'm going to say Amajim, which means to stand. Sar, which means to turn. We're going to face the east. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer first in Hebrew, then in English. Repeat after me. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayab, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwatka, Taba'ah, Ratazayaka, Hayab, Aisha, Baratazah, Kawa, Hayab, Bashemayim, Nathan Lanawa, Lacham, Kal, Yawam, Wasalak Nawa, Kabawap Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kabawap Yanawa, Wala'ah, Tabia Ayanawa, Banasaya 1, Abal, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wahala, Wahata Para, La'awalomium, Aman. In the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Sar, turn your face in front. We'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers, then to the sisters, in the visual. Body Shabbat, Maju, Rock, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah Brakatah. Got it, Batah? Sar, turn your face to sister, individual. Body Shabbat, Maju, Rock, Yahweh Shema Thou Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. Got it, Batah? Dismiss.